Good morning. I did this reading today at 6:27 a.m., which gives us a 1-5 energy or a 6. Today is April 24th, 2025, which is going to be a 4-6-9 energy or a 10 and a 9 or a 1-9. So we have a 10 energy. And then today being Jupiter Day, what beads do I recommend? Well, we have lapis lazuli, enhancing your wisdom, amethyst for calming, sodalite for rational thoughts, citrine for abundance and clarity, and blue topaz for commitments and clarity and responsibility. Thor Day is Jupiter Day, and currently Jupiter is in Gemini and will be transiting into Taurus, which I'm not Taurus, but Cancer, which I'm very much looking forward to because it's been opposite my Gemini in my chart and it's been rather painful. So what do we have today? We have the number 10 card again, so some re-emphasizing of the numerology, which I always find interesting. It is the Wheel of Fortune card, and it's really telling us about Saturn in 2025 as it's going to enter into Aries in May. And the Four of Cups, water element, the two major arcana being the Chariot and the High Priestess, ruled by the third decan, the moon, in the fourth house of Cancer, and how we basically build our ancestry and family. So what might this reading be telling us? Well, Aries, Saturn enters Aries in 2025, May, at 0 degrees, kissing Neptune, a dramatic shift, a 2,000-year cycle closing, and a new cycle being remade. Saturn, the planet of time and realism, structure, paired with Neptune, idealism and disillusion, is breaking down what is failing to serve. Saturn demands what's real. In 1989, we saw the fall of the Berlin Wall, and there was a mild indication of this cycle at that time, although not at 0 degrees. So this is why this is considered a 2,000-year cycle. A cycle that oscillated between increased protectionism and dissolution of boundaries, impacting global cooperation and trade. At this time, several factors are reigniting a theme of supply chain disruptions due to escalating geopolitical tensions. Saturn says walls must rise up due to mass uncertainty. Neptune says that there's creative trade bias that needs to be addressed. The wheel says this is an agreed upon karmic destiny. And the Four of Cups shows our utter dissatisfaction at the missed opportunities. Our Chariot says we are going to overcome the controls placed upon us, but will face major upheavals and must be prepared for the coming confusing state we are all about to feel. resistance and resilience will be required. Adaptability and proactive change necessary. And I'm really feeling it myself. I have been heavily working on my garden, been getting beat up with the cancer lately, and so haven't been online as much. And I have mentioned that to everyone that I've had some bouts lately that have been difficult. And what are we dealing with? Well, we're dealing with the decentralization and localism with sovereignty and autonomy. We have fragmentation of a mass system that needs to break into a smaller type of system, identity-driven, boutique type of networks with a need for self-sufficiency and resiliency rather than global interdependence. We have been watching an erosion of our institutionalized trust. What's unfolding is a darkness we have been under for some time. As we gain understanding, we will redefine our boundaries. Expect this time to be total chaos. Despite what is coming, we are stepping into an era that supports the visionary constructs and innovative solutions with technologies that will emerge. And in the end, it will be all about sustainability. And I've heard other readers say this, that it's about green energy. It's about, if you can bring something that is homegrown, original, and helps the environment, you're likely to be quite successful. And what do we have paired? We have the Four of Cups with the element of water. Again, the High Priestess and the Chariot, the fourth house, Cancer, being ruled by the third decan, the moon. So things kind of subconsciously happening to us. Likely we have a sacred agreement. Those of us who are here as a part of this healing journey that we are on. And many of us refusing the call. We didn't vote a certain way. We said, no, we're not doing that. We voted for what was best for our home and our family, but it wasn't enough. Scarcity versus surplus. Temptations versus apathy. The gyra of time, Saturn. And the basic causticness, something is up. What we once knew, now under threat in every way. In particular, our ability to educate ourselves. Now, I'm going to say this has been going on a long time, and a lot of our history has been erased over and over again, and we're watching that happen again. Many oblivious. And this one is deeply troubling to me, a lack of concern for the oppressed. This is a call many are heeding, yet many are not. This is now about the hero's journey. What are you willing to do to save yourself at this time? Each and every one of us must be prepared to save ourselves. Now, in 1989, I was in Berlin. And as everybody knows, the wall came down. I went shopping in November of 1989 during what was happening in East Berlin, a supply chain problem and disruption with very specific hours of operation and not much at all on the shelves. And what is interesting and why I'm even bringing this up is this Saturn, Neptune, 0 degrees. This is now magnified by a lot. And back at that time, it wasn't at 0 degrees. It was just a slight hit. And as a result of this particular trip to Berlin and then having shopped in East Berlin, I came home after that and began gardening. And this year in particular, I am very much taking on the garden in heavy ways. And why? Well, because a chapter of 2,000 years has just came to a close, which likely will bring a supply chain disruption that will be notable. We are beginning a new era, a once in a millennia event. How we go about change as a collective, we are called to usher in new paradigms focused on equality, innovation, and people power. We are moving away from, the fiefdoms, the Game of Thrones, as Neptune hits Aries, or already has hit Aries. It became our rallying cry for proper care for all. From the depths, we repeat things until we learn. 2,000 years ago, now I want to talk about why I am thinking as I am. The Roman Empire fell. The Han Dynasty and trade in China started advancing. India saw a rise in power and a spread of spirituality. The Mayan civilization underwent development, and the African kingdoms began emerging. The rise and fall of empires, those who are in a state of holding on to the past out of fear, this history and instinctually wanting to hold fast to something that is dissolving before our eyes. An interesting point to note is that 2,000 years ago is when we hung Jesus on the cross, when so many were so fervently annoyed and had the perfect scapegoat to take our sins and suffering from injustices. But we have to ask ourselves, was it necessary to hang Jesus on the cross? Well, we seem to have thought so at the time. And of course, now we want to hang other people on the cross in new metaphorical ways, instead of cleaning up our act and doing the right things, taking responsibility, and just stop being so sinful. The crowds had turned on Jesus 2,000 years ago, only later to rekindle meaning that we ascribe in today's world. And I'm going to just say this. I'm really annoyed by this. This whole theme of the Christian nationalists, the watered down version of what we're supposed to be. Now, I'm a Gnostic. I'm more of I believe that it is upon me to live a moral life. I have Jupiter in rulership, Sagittarius on my ascendant. Basically, I believe in doing right from wrong. I believe in justice. I believe in being a decent human. And we're witnessing a time where a certain group is calling for protectionism of people that look like me. And I'm so sad to say that this is uncalled for. Those of you who are in that camp, please look at yourself in the mirror and ask yourself why you're doing this, because you're being controlled. You're indoctrinated. And with that, please do like, share, and subscribe. Join me, leave comments. How are you managing today's energy? I know for myself, it's been a real doozy. Thank you so much for being here with me today.